I'm today here with Brian from agencyvelocity. He has had a great journey during the past 6 months, I'd say so. You mind doing a little bit of a breakdown of what you're doing, what kind of a business you're running?
Right now, just doing email outreach. Typical client for me is a B2B SaaS company, and we just help them grow.
I think 6 months is pretty accurate time frame, how long we have worked together. So what were you doing 6 months ago? What was your situation?
Staring at the stars, trying to figure out life. What I was doing before was actually lead generation, but I was doing it for another company. I was doing sales there and just kind of felt like there was a lot of opportunity for me to improve upon their process, do it myself. And long term, always had kind of the vision to create my own thing and build something for myself. So found you on Twitter, saw a lot of content. I already knew you knew what you were talking about because I knew a bit about the space and about lead generation. So took a bit of leap of faith and joined, and everything's been great ever since.
And now, around 6 months later, what is your situation looking like right now? Is the business running like you wanted it to run, or how is the situation looking?
Where we're at today is 10 clients, 2 full-time researchers, and then just last week hired my first inbox managers. Super happy with the team I've hired. Excited to kind of see them flourish and help me scale this thing.
If you don't mind me asking, what kind of revenue numbers are you doing right now?
Yeah, so last month, 9K. This month, I've landed a few clients with retainer, so I'm expecting to exceed that number. And then kind of looking forward towards the next year, it's how can we scale fast as possible.
And then if you add starting fees to that,
Starting fees, I think there was 4K in that, so I guess that roughly puts me at 13K.
and now that you have started building out the team, how has that been? Has it been harder than you expected or easier than you expected finding really those key players?
It's kind of both. With the information you provide, Agency Velocity, you basically tell everything, all the mistakes that you made first time around so that we can save time and avoid that. Whether it's like the places you can look, interview questions you can ask, building out SOPs, that's a big one. You think it's easier than it is, but then you try to explain someone that hasn't done it before or just doesn't know your process. And it's surprisingly challenging. And every day this week, I've had a call with my inbox manager just to get him kind of comfortable with the process.
Yeah, it's a lot of upfront work with everyone who you bring onto the team. But then when you have done it and they actually understand it, then it's amazing.
There's a lot of people out there, different parts of the world, and they're just super appreciative and excited about the opportunity. So, I'm excited and kind of feel proud to be able to offer that to them. So, yeah, it's been great so far.
That's sick. What was really the main thing why you decided to start working with us, and how has it really been? What has been the most valuable thing that you have gotten from us?
Yeah, well, the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge and bought into the program is followed you on Twitter, could tell that you knew what you were talking about. And then you put out, I think it was like a 50-page document. I forget exactly what it was called, probably something around like how to start your own lead gen agency. So I read through that, and there was details that even though I had a bit of experience, hadn't even considered. So I thought, well, this person's proven out. They know what they're talking about. This is going to save me so much time. It felt like I could take that document and just do it myself without buying into the program, but I couldn't have been more wrong. There's so many more details beyond that. Time saving and headaches and scaling faster. That's like kind of my mindset. And if I was going to take this seriously, then, the investment into the program is super minimal, especially if you have big goals. The price point shouldn't be a big deal at all. And I think within the first month, I landed a client, and the starting fee for that client was roughly what the whole program was. So I caught that back pretty quickly.
We always talk with Rob about it. You have really specific questions. You don't really hang around on the Slack. Twice or once a month, you hit us up with 4 laser targeted questions. It's all really, really funny to see, because we can also see like, where are you really moving with the agency based on the questions that you ask?
Yeah, I got my head down and I'm working. So not the most social on Slack, but yeah, appreciate being able to ask you guys questions, get quick replies, because sometimes if you're just doing this on your own, you're a little bit of an echo chamber. And so you kind of, for a sanity check, just need to ask someone that's done it before. And so that's like a big part of it. Sometimes I kind of know the answer before I ask it, but it's hard for me to kind of move forward unless, I get your guys' confirmation. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah, 100%. I feel you. I have a lot of coaches where I already know what I'm asking. I already know how it should be done, but just getting the one last thumbs up, it's like, okay, perfect. Now I can just focus on doing it.
Totally.
From your experience going from 0 to now 9K in just the performance fees, what has really been the hardest obstacle that you have had to overcome along that journey?
It's definitely driving results for clients. Results, there's a lot of variables. You can get 60% open rates pretty easily. You can get a decent reply rate, but are you finding the right people at the right time that are willing to engage in the product? And some of the variable that you can't control is product market fit from the client. What that taught me is in the beginning, I was just Oh, you want to work with me? Yes. You want to work with me? Yes. And I just felt like the more emails I got out there with more different clients, that would give me the best success. I think that was a good approach because I did land a few clients where I was able to get some good case studies, some good customer quotes, obviously got some good performance fees from them, but it did teach me moving forward. I'm going to be a little more strategic about the clients that I decide to take on. So not just hopping on a call and trying to sell someone, really like hopping on a call and qualifying them, making sure that they have some sort of product market fit. If they don't have any, then, hopefully they need to pay some sort of retainer and justify why you're doing an experiment for them so that you're not taking on all the risk. Now, if they have social proof, they know what they're doing, and they just need someone to cover more ground and do it with a little more expertise, then maybe you can kind of step into it with a little more confidence and say, okay, we'll just do performance based, because there is a tipping point. Like you can do a retainer, smaller performance fee. If you book more than 6 meetings, maybe the performance fee ends up making more money for you. So you kind of have to figure out what that tipping point is, and it's going to be different for each client.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen that, especially with SaaS. Anyone who doesn't have the SaaS experience, really, we always like just try to push them towards like more traditional products. Because you and me probably know fairly well that with SaaS, there's a bunch of products that shouldn't really exist.
Now, the upside to SaaS is a lot of times you can find clients with a big average contract deal, a big deal size. So if they have a deal size, it's like 50K annual, they're more than happy to pay $500 for a meeting, especially if they know like, hey, if we get 10 meetings with our agreed upon ICP, we're pretty confident we can close at least one of those. They get like 10x the ROI. For them, it's a no-brainer. And for us, the SaaS reply rate's a little lower probably than reaching out to some service base. But if you kind of have the right expectations going into it, I think that's kind of like what's important. And a lot of clients, if you say, hey, I can guarantee 50% open rate, that blows their mind because it's likely that they've tried this before. And there's so many things they did wrong. Like their marketing team could have burned through their main domain. They could have been overly formal and salesy in their approach. I think I read an article the other day, it's like Crunchbase article, average professional receives like 120 cold emails a day. 40% of those go to spam. So if you're making sure that you're at least getting deliverability, you're almost beating half the crowd, which is pretty encouraging.
I think big positive side also with SaaS is if you're able to catch a company who is really on the come up, or basically they are just figuring out product market fit, and you can be the one last missing piece of the puzzle for them, you're able to grow with them so hard, because usually they have a bunch of stuff already built and they're just missing that right angle to find the right market with the right messaging. And then when you click it for them, then there's a huge upside for a little bit taking the risk almost.
And I think with messaging, there's so much information. If you go and Google, like, what's the right way to write a cold email, you're going to get 10 different articles. They're all going to claim that they're an expert, and they're all going to say different things. And so really the best way to learn is having experience doing it. And with this program, whether it's through your experience or just the experience of the 100 other people, we kind of get to all come together and say, this is our collective experience. This is what works and this is what doesn't.
When we talk with 100 people who are running 3 split tests at once for themselves, and then for 3 clients, we're seeing like 1,000 split tests in real time and seeing what really works in each market. So just taking the data, sharing it with anyone, it's really hard to lose. If someone is wondering what it actually looks like to work with us, what is it all about? Could you quickly describe what it looks like to be inside the program, work with us, and what kind of things happen there?
Yeah, well, I think number one is you get out of it what you put into it. On day one, you're going to receive a very comprehensive step-by-step guide in terms of the tools you need to get, sales techniques, copywriting techniques, lead scraping techniques. There's so many different tools out there to do each of these things. And so the program saves you a lot of times in terms of, these are the best, these are why they're the best. So you have all this information, and then you get to decide what you want to do with it. You can ask people within the program for questions. You can ask directly you guys. And so it can be something where you can get a lot of help if you don't have any experience with this, or it can be just something that, you go through the guide, it gets you set up, and then on an as-need basis, you can obviously leverage the team and ask for help. So I think that's been great for me because there's some things that I just don't need right now. And you kind of mentioned, like, I come in, couple questions, maybe once a week, once a month. Other than that, I just need to kind of focus on my thing. So yeah, I think it's flexible in that sense.
That's perfect to hear. That's perfect to hear. If there's someone listening, they're like wondering, maybe I should book in a call, see what it's all about. What would you say to those people? What would really be your advice there?
Stay away if you don't want to make any money. If you're serious about working for yourself and you want an online income, you want to work remotely, I think, in my opinion, lead gen is the way to do it. If you are serious about it, don't fool yourself in thinking that you can do it on your own. This is going to save you a lot of time. It's super easy to make your ROI back. I've done it tenfold over the last 5-6 months. And, who knows what I'm going to accomplish over the next couple of years. So for me, it was a no-brainer, been the best decision I made. And I really couldn't have gotten to this point and do so in a way where I remain sane throughout the process without the program.
Last question that I really have, one thing that probably a lot of people would like to hear. If there's someone right now thinking about building a lead gen agency, what would be your most important tip or advice to tell them?
Yeah, if you're going to do it, go all in. If you're serious about it, I think starting it on your own, there's a lot of conflicting information about the best way to approach it. Joining a program where not only you get technical support, but you also, if you want to call it emotional support or just kind of motivation with other people that are working hard, I think that's huge. If you're serious about working for yourself and working towards a place where you kind of have not just remote work. I mean, because I did remote work for 5 years and you're still working for someone, you're still contributing to someone else's dream. This is me kind of building out on my own and doing it at my own speed and kind of doing it my own way. If that's attractive to you, again, I think lead gen is the best way to go, and that buying into this program should be a no-brainer.
Thank you, man. That really, really appreciate it. Can't wait to see, like, for example, 6 months into your future, what your agency is going to be looking like.
Me too.
It's going to be totally sick. Probably going to be something mind-blowing. Anything that you want to add?
No, I just, each week I'm kind of surprised that I even had any doubt on whether it was worth to join a program, because again, I had a lot of experience coming into it. I worked with a company, I sold over $1 million in services. This to me saved so much time, got results faster. You have a support group of almost over, I think, over 100 people at this point. And so, yeah, man, just really appreciative and grateful that, I found you guys.
Amazing. Really, really amazing to have you with us for sure. I remember when we did the first call.
You're a B2B SaaS company looking to grow. My name is Brian Burns. Elite Leads is the name of the agency. If you are interested in talking to me about how to potentially scale cold outreach, you can probably figure out how to find me.
If you can't figure it out, then you probably are not the fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Perfection. Thank you everyone for watching.